What's up, everybody? Welcome back to an episode of the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles. I am your host, Pat Finley. I am joined by co-host Jason Latimer, co-host Rich Ortega, and very special guest Josh Zolin. But first, if you're working in commercial kitchens, you already know grease gets everywhere, especially on coils. That's where Viper's coil cleaners come in. Viper's non-corrosive, technician-safe formulas are designed to cut through heavy buildup without damaging the equipment you're trying to protect. No harsh acids, no unnecessary risk, just powerful, effective cleaning that keeps systems running the way they should. If you service restaurant equipment, make sure Viper is on your truck. Thank you, Viper, for supporting the show and helping us do what we do. What is going on, everybody?
Hey,
What are you guys doing, man?
What up?
Welcome,
Josh. Welcome back.
Hey, thank you so much. I'm so excited to cut it up, dude. I'm really excited to be back, and I'm pumped to get into it, man.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think the last one we did was pre-recorded. We did it in the middle of the day, and it aired. And it was fun. We covered some stuff. I got a feeling we're covering a lot more fun topics tonight. Some new stuff you got going on, and maybe who knows what else. We'll kind of move it on, man. It may get a little wild.
Wherever the conversation goes, man, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm here for a good time, not for a long time, right? So for those that don't know, Josh is located in Arizona. Josh started off as a technician working alongside his dad. They built and grew Windy City Equipment, and he is now CEO, and he's out there killing it. So if you guys don't know who Josh is, he's an author, a podcast host, a mentor. I mean, I'm sure I'm forgetting a few things here. I mean, just all around.
Are there people out there that don't know who he is?
Seriously? Oh, come on. Stop.
Oh, yeah,
I'm nothing more than the chairman of the board of directors of Josh. Like I'm just in charge of all the Joshes that don't know shit. Sorry. Can we swear on this thing?
You can do whatever you want. I don't
Okay, cool.
This is happy hour.
You're good. All right, good. Yeah. This is because I wasn't going to listen anyway. So, all right.
We're technicians, man. We've heard it all from the lunch ladies, even.
Josh, where did we see you last, Josh? How was your trip to Vegas? When we saw you last, how was that?
Oh, yeah, man. Vegas was good. It was my first year at the HVAC Tactical Awards. Honored and privileged to be able to present an award to my good friend Gary McCready. Shout out to HVAC Know It All. And so, dude, that was a good time. I know that I've missed the last few. I got FOMO every single time I saw those pictures and videos and stuff that everybody posts afterwards, and finally got to experience it. So no, man, it was a good time. It was quick. I was on the ground like 24 hours in Vegas before I had to turn around and leave.
You squeezing a little bit of AHR?
Yeah. Got a day on the floor, which was great. Nice. Kept me out of the casinos,
I don't know if it's any cheaper on the floor there than the casinos, though, man. It's pretty rough either way you go, because you'll buy some stuff once you see it there.
Yeah.
Sweet. So yeah, that was cool. That was good to see you there. HVAC Tactical is always such a fun night. It's cool to be involved. It's really showing off the blue collar trades, going black tie. I mean, I think the funnest part I've seen that whole night was our good friend Megan winning. She's kind of a big deal. She don't want to say it, but she's kind of a big deal. And then I think the funniest thing I seen all night was blue collar code showing up with his full hard hat decked out in a tux. So I was like, who is this dude? And I was like, oh, it's Bobby. That dude is absolutely hilarious. He's blowing up now.
Yeah, it was a missed opportunity. I'm like, after the show, I was just like, that's that guy? This whole time I didn't know? Oh, God.
My son always sends me his TikToks. So he does those ones where he's like sitting on a stool and he's got a voice changer and his face is covered and he's like just talking crap
about
like
to everyone. And I didn't realize I was hanging out with that the whole time.
Yeah, dude's hilarious.
That's what the show's about, man. You never know who's going to be there.
He does some pretty big HVAC stuff up in Arizona somewhere, it looks like. So enough chit chat. What's going on with you? I mean, I know you got some stuff you want to talk about, but what's new? I know you rebranded the podcast. You kind of go in a little bit different direction. I know you're involved in helping mentor people starting businesses, people coaching people businesses. I mean, you've been a big part of Rich's success and building Rich up. What's going on with you right now?
Yeah, I wish I knew how to answer that. I don't know any more than you do, quite honestly. I'm just going with the flow, man. And you know what I've been trying to do the last few years is really just kind of listen to my intuition, and trying to redefine the word freedom, right? And I think Rich and I have had some of these conversations in the past too. It's like, what is freedom, and what does it mean? Is it a destination? Is it the journey? You hear all this shit on TikTok and Instagram and in the feeds and all that, and there's a different definition every time. So I'm just trying to figure that out for myself. And so when there's something that lights me up, like the podcast, right, and rebranding that or realigning that, and having those types of conversations, I lean into it. Helping other people succeed is really, really big for me. And I don't care who it is, and I don't care if it's one conversation. I don't care if it's multiple conversations over several years. I just, I'm so blessed to be in the position that I am in right now, and that, the journey that I have been on. And I'm not there yet. I don't know it all, but, I've been through some stuff, and, if any of my experience can help anybody else, I'm just so fortunate to be able to do that and willing to do that. And then I bring that right into my company too, which I've got huge growth initiatives for over the next couple of years. And there's been a bit of a transition family-wise, from my dad being owner of the business to basically transferring it to me, and and I'll just say it, I've got both hands on the wheel and my foot on the gas, and that translates to everything in my life, whether it be the podcast, the academy, the mentor, my business, my family, and I'm just enjoying the ride, man.
Don't let that transition from his dad to him fool you, because Josh was out there. He gave up. He left the stunt industry, came over and worked beside his dad for years and years and years, and they both built this. And Josh earned it. Josh worked his butt off for it. So don't, a lot of times people see that, oh, you got something from your parents, you think it's given to you, and it wasn't. You've fought and earned every single thing you've gotten out of it.
I really appreciate you acknowledging that, Pat, because that's personally something that, I've worked on too,
Mm-hmm.
because those who know my dad, and I know none of you know my dad, but he is an old school guy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so when I came into the business, it was, hey, you need to learn how to be a technician. I spent 10 years in the field, and turning wrenches in the trenches, actually doing the work, and then, once I started to elevate from the field into the office, I had a whole new set of problems I had to understand: P&L, balance sheet, cash flow statements, collections, customers, reconciliation. I mean, all of this kind of stuff that was foreign to me when I was fixing equipment, I was thrust into that as well. And my dad will be the first to tell you, he's a mechanic. Mm-hmm. He's not a businessman, right? And so he was, for lack of a better term, chucking a truck. Mm-hmm. Right. And so he was a one-man shop until I came in, and he said one thing to me. He said, Josh, if you want to grow the business, yeah, he was very specific about it. If you want to grow the business, you deal with the people. I will fix the equipment. You deal with the people. And I was like, all right, well, challenge accepted. And sometimes I'm thinking, okay, well, it was a whole lot easier when it was just me and him on the street, and now we've got, 55 people out there. And so, it has been quite the journey, and my dad was the one that presented the opportunity, right? He's the one that gave me the seed. He's the one that taught me the trade after my stint in the stump business. And for that, I'm forever grateful. But I've owned the business for a long time, even if I haven't owned the business for a long time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can definitely own a business without owning it. I mean, I own everything I do, and I work for a big giant conglomerate, but I take that as my name, my result, and I own what I do. So I understand that fully. I do have one question though. I hear this word thrown around all the time in meetings. It's EBITDA. What? I mean, I still don't have any idea what that is. People talk about it all the time like it's something important. I'm like, what is this?
So is that an actual question?
No, I'm just joking.
Okay.
No, I have no desire.
Question.
I'll dive into it, man.
I was
we could break it down. We could talk about private equity. We could do whatever you want.
No. Let's not get
Don't worry, I just learned that word just a few years ago myself. So
I thought it was a
throw
real
it around,
question, and
and
I was like, damn it, he's gonna make me answer.
No. We can get into a different topic, but that just kills me because they use it all the time in our meetings, and I'm like, what does this word mean? I'm like, I'm a tech. I understand some pretty fancy shit. This is not in my vocabulary.
That's so funny. Well, it's because it's the buzzword in business today, especially in our industry. They could easily just say net operating income.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds nicer when you say EBITDA.
Yeah, because
Does
no
it,
one knows
though?
what it means.
It's
No
kind of
one
an
knows-
ugly word, dude.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's like every buzzword though, like culture, community, all this other bull crap. It's like you don't mean any of that. It just sounds nice.
Wow.
So
Yo,
Josh,
Shots
the big
fired.
word I heard was growth. I like that. So is
Growth.
This
Okay, there you go.
2026 the word?
Way to bring it back, Jason. Way to bring it back. No, I
That's what
appreciate
Jason's
you.
here for. He full circle.
Growth is the name of the game, guys. Growth is what happens organically, and if it's not, you're going the opposite direction, right? And to me, there is no standing still. You're either growing or you're dying, right? And it can look different either way, right? It can feel like you're dying, but you can actually be growing. But just as long as you're not stagnant, just as long as whatever failure you have and you've been through that you learn from, that's still growth, right? And so yeah, I am a huge personal growth, professional growth, business growth. Like I am about growth. That is the word for me.
That's good. I mean, that should be the word for anybody, though. Personal, private. I mean, growth is what you want to achieve. You don't want to sit stagnant. You don't want to go backwards. You want to grow. You want to be more. You want to contribute more. You want to be that person.
Action words are always good.
That's it. The only way it didn't translate for me is vertically. That's okay though.
No, you've been hitting the gym. You're making up for it.
Yeah, I have to grow horizontally because I can't grow anymore vertically. You know what I'm saying? So, I can be sturdy, but I can't be small.
Nice. So, Bitney, let's talk about Blue is the New White for a little bit, because that's a pretty cool program you have out there. We've talked about it in the past. All three of us actually talked about it. I'm sure Rich is a lot more experienced in it than Jason and myself, because let's be honest, I think you guys have a meeting probably every week or bi-weekly or something at this point.
I'm jealous. I just found that.
Bro, the amount of times I text the man, I'm sure he sees my number pop up and he's like, what the?
Well, I'm really glad it's not like 2001 where I'm paying for text messages, incoming text messages anymore, because otherwise we'd have to renegotiate, you know what I'm saying? But no, man, I'm happy to help. And it's an honor for me to be on that journey with you, Rich.
Yeah.
Love that.
So what do you want to know?
Yeah.
Everything. So
everything.
Let's start with the why. Let's move into the what.
Yep, he got through right there. I was gonna say, why are you so not hell bent, but why are you so driven to help others be the best version of themselves?
I am hell bent on it, man. I truly am. You were right the first time. I really am, and it's because everybody deserves it, and everybody's capable of it, and those two things. I think that it gives people the capability to be so much more. The only contingency is they have to want it for themselves. And this is a lesson I had to learn the hard way. I have a habit of, within my own organization, wanting more for people than they want for themselves, and seeing the potential in people that they don't see for themselves. And for a long time, I tricked myself into thinking that I could be the person that showed them that they have this and that they can want this or they should want this. It took me a long time to realize that that's a waste of energy. And I can be that rock, I can be that support system, and I can help anybody as long as they want it. But if they don't, I can't do anything for them. And if I try, then it's going to take away from the people that I can pour into. So I think, as far as like why I'm so hell-bent on helping people, it's because of that, and it's because it's a value of mine, and I see where I was. And thank you. So it took me 12 years to grow this beard. I will never, ever shave it. Anyway.
Shout out to Brian. Brian said he does have an outstanding beard. I couldn't let that go by. I didn't mean to derail the entire.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So I just, Pat, it's a passion of mine. It's something I value. I look in the mirror every day and I'm like, how can I be better? And this is work for me. Like when we talk about becoming and we talk about personal development and all this kind of stuff, this isn't reading something inspirational and then hoping it happens. This isn't watching The Secret or reading The Secret and wishing for something and putting it on a vision board and then just trusting that the universe will make it work. There's actually a delta there. There's effort in between that needs to be made. And, it's something that I get up and I put my feet on the ground every single day, and I put intent behind it. And I know that if I can do it for me, and with some of what I've seen and some of what I've gone through and some of the lessons that I've learned the hard way, that I'm in an incredible position to help people not only do the same thing, but maybe take a different path than me to get them there even faster than I did.
Yeah, I think everyone does that. It's a little exhausting with wanting to project your being intentional on other people, and you see the potential in them. I mean, but it's not even just work; it's friends, it's family, and
Yeah.
it's all coming from a good place. But you want to pour so much into them, and like you said, you're taking away from others, and it is exhausting. And it's some people just never they'll chase after that person. But I mean, for people like yourself and Rich who are in a position where it's the viability of your company. I mean, I thought it was a waste of time on myself just being a coworker doing that, pouring into people.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, you have an organization to run, and you have a family, and you have all these responsibilities. And it's at some point you got to it's like, do they really want it, or do I need to pull back?
So let me make a very important distinction, because I agree with you fully, and that's why I created Bit New Academy, right? Is because of the difference between soft skills and character. Soft skills I describe as being transferable. There are things like communication and conflict resolution and personal responsibility. Some will argue on that, whether that's transferable or not. I think it is. Being able to have difficult conversations, being able to teach, right? Being able to problem solve. These are all soft skills, and they can be taught and they can be learned. They differ from character, right? And character or personality are the things that can't be taught, the things that can't be learned. I would put like humility in that category, or even humor or bitterness, or the way that people just kind of naturally carry themselves. Usually the only way to change that is a cataclysmic life event, right? Death, disease, or divorce. That will change somebody's personality. But I, in my online platform, am not going to change somebody from being cocky as hell to being the most humble person on the planet. Sure. It's just not going to happen. But if we can deploy soft skills strategically, measurably, and uniformly across the company, which is what you're talking about, Jason, we can do that. That becomes practical leadership. That becomes learned behavior, and the only requirement is that they have to be willing.
Sure. I like that.
Yeah, I suffer tremendously from expecting others and expecting myself and others. Like, I'm like, I want this. Why don't you want this? Like, you can do this too. I want this. I mean, and it's terrible. And imagine working with your two sons and trying to do that. I mean, Rich probably does it too. Like, my son, God bless him. He's got Crohn's, and he's been going through a terrible flare up for like 3 months now. Like, he's lost like 65 pounds. Like, he misses work all the time, and like, he won't go to work. I'm like, dude, you're screwing people. I'm like, people are relying on you. And I'm like, my wife's like, give him a break, man. He's dying pretty much. I'm like, no, he can do this. He can work through this. I'm like, man, I don't mean to be that way, but it's like,
Pat, would you say it's harder with your sons? Like, you expect them to be you more than you expect
100%.
other people to be you?
Oh,
Sometimes I have to catch myself. Like, my son will ask me something, and I'm like, he's been training for a little over a year, and it hasn't been consistent because we've done such a vast array of different type of projects. So it's not even like he's done refrigeration regularly or whatever. And sometimes he'll call me and I'll be like, what? And then I'm like, wait, he's not me. You know what I mean? Like, I have to get that out of my mind. But then like one of my other guys will call me and I'll be more chill with them and be like, okay, yeah, let's just work through it, whatever.
Oh, 100%. It's rough. I expect them to know what I know, and they don't. And then I expect them to ask the questions. And, sometimes I probably come off wrong, and they're probably scared to ask me the questions. 100% honesty here. I mean, a lot of times I don't mean to come off like I'm mad, but if I'm working on something and someone's asking me questions, I'm not devoting what I should to the person. I'm still engaged in what I'm working on. So I'll come off dry and short. And a lot of times people think I'm mad, and I'm not. And I really need to, if someone's going to call me and ask me questions, I really need to stop what I'm doing and like walk away and focus on them and give them the attention they need to get through their problem. And then I can go back and address what I'm working on. But I think I'm a Superman and can handle both at the same time. And I really can't.
Well, sometimes you're in teach mode and sometimes you're I'm in a very serious situation where a lot of times for us as commercial cooking equipment repairmen, we work on equipment live, and sometimes you just got to be like, hey, I can't take this call, you got to silence that. And sometimes I catch people in the middle of something that is time sensitive. You're waiting for this to heat up, you're clocking how long this freeze is going to take before it goes to harvest. There's a myriad of different things we could be doing, but then when it's teaching time, you have my attention all day long, So, but I get there. Sometimes it's hard to switch.
That's my problem. I can never not take the call. That's my problem.
I'm just like Rich,
that's what I was just going to say. Is I teach all my guys, especially my lead techs, that if you can't take the call, you take the call.
Yep.
Hey, you know what? I'm underneath the oven right now. I can't give you the attention that it deserves. If there's nobody else that you can call, give me an hour. I'll call you back. We'll talk it through. Okay, because that prevents exactly what you're talking about, Pat, which is just the human condition. Like, Jason, you hit it on the head, right? We're in go mode. We're doing things live, and despite what people think, you cannot multitask, right? Humans can't multitask. Computers can't multitask, right? You multi-switch. You switch of where you put your attention. And, if you can understand that, you you can't give the attention that's necessary to help the people that are asking you for help if you're trying to do more than one thing. It won't work.
That's a good way to put it. That's for sure. I'm still going to try my damnedest, though.
Perfect example. I got an email, and I'm going to ignore the email and focus on the podcast.
There you go. There you go.
Hey, guys, can I do something real quick? You mentioned something earlier, Josh, the word death. And I just want to give a quick shout out. My mentor when I was at Steak and Shake was my director of facilities, and his name's David Decker. And I left him a long message today asking for some mentorship and something. And I got a phone call back shortly after from his wife, and I found out he just passed away a few days ago. And I just wanted to put a shout out there to David Decker. He meant so much to me. It's so much to other people. And he is somebody who always took my phone call for sure. But when you mentioned that, it just hit me the day I kind of started with. And I just wanted to give a shout out to David Decker and his wife, Daphne. He was my mentor when I was at Steak and Shake, and he's one of the reasons I became facilities manager. So thank you.
Yep. Sorry for your loss, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jason.
Jason had to bring it all down, and
sorry, carry on, fellas.
Now we got to start.
I respect that, man. I
100%,
respect that. That's
100%.
Fantastic.
Well, that's all for this episode. So.
Yeah, right.
So let's get back to Blue is the New White. Let's talk about the book.
Sure.
So you wrote this book. I've read it I think I've read it 2 or 3 times. I've listened to audio version 4 or 5 times. I mean, it's easier for me to listen to audio. I drive a lot, but why did you write this book? What compelled you to write it, and what was your message you were trying to get across?
Well, first of all, thanks for your support, man. I truly appreciate the fact that you've read it, not only read it, but reread it. That means the world to me. I wrote it because the industry, more than the industry, the people in the industry deserve it. Right. And the people who can be successful in this industry that have no idea what it is, I should say these industries, the blue collar skilled trades, right. That they have no idea what they do, why they exist, or that's even a viable option, or worse, that they think that it's not a viable option, that it's a terrible option. I wrote this book to kind of pull back the veil on these misperceptions that we've been taught our entire lives. Unless you grow up with somebody in the trades or in a town that is like a trade town, mining town or something like that, you really don't know how lucrative these jobs can be. You don't know what these jobs are responsible for, and everything that they are responsible for, you usually take for granted. You can't throw a rock in this world in an urban area without hitting something that's a result of the skilled trades. I can't look out my window without assigning dollar signs to everything that I see. The light posts, the paved roads, the turf, my driveway. I mean, everything is a result of people who work with their hands. They shape civilization as we see it today, which is just incredible. What I love to say, Pat, is that, kids these days, they want to change the world. So why the hell aren't we introducing them to the industries that actually can, that actually do, that actually shape it? That's why I wrote the book, because people deserve to know how impactful these jobs can be, both financially and for, however it is that they define success.
That's a great point. There's more than, there's plenty of opportunities out there. You got to work for it, but let's get them out there. Let's show people that they're out there. We beat up on this subject all the time about schools and college and this and that, and when we were in school, you won't be anything once you go to college and whatever. I make more than probably 95% of people I graduated high school with, unless they're a doctor. I maybe do better than some of those guys actually, but.
You do. Actually, I posted something on LinkedIn probably a year ago now, comparing the salary of an HVAC technician to a doctor, like throughout their career. Oh my gosh, I got such backlash for that. It was terrible. I had doctors wanting to stab me with their freaking syringes, man. Like it was, oh geez, like it was crazy. But it's real statistics. And it just shows, because doctors are in school for so long, and so it shows kind of at what point doctors actually start making money, and then cumulatively, how much HVAC technicians, how much money they make up until the point that the doctor enters the practice. And you know what? The HVAC tech makes more.
Yeah. Josh, when I was on your show and I pulled out my SSI.gov from when I was 16 years old to when I went to tech school after the recession, when I didn't make any money because I was on unemployment, I was defeated. And we went to Washington State. My wife joined the service and I went to school for 4 years. And then it was exactly what it said. The first year I was out of school, I made what I made I was working 3 jobs to make what I made for that one blue collar job. And every year since, I made 10 grand more each year, well into 6 figures. And it was exactly how that went down. And I had that career testimonial just from SSI.gov showing what I made from when I was 16 to where I was at the time that we had our interview. And I loved that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's that time of year people are doing taxes, right? And I was looking at my income. I'm not going to throw a number out here, but I've realized that I make more on the hour every single year, but the total income I've made for the last 3 years has been within like $2,000. So I'm cutting back on the hours I'm working, but I'm still making the same exact amount of money. I'm like, this is starting to get pretty good.
That's a win for real.
That's called leverage, Pat.
Yeah, it's working out pretty well for me. I can't complain. So, we hit around a little bit about BitNew, and let's get into what really is the driving force behind, the BitNew and what you're doing there.
Yeah. So you're talking about the Academy?
Yes, sir, the Academy.
Yeah. So the Academy, just simply put, we sell the Academy to blue-collar, skilled trade business owners to deploy as an employee development tool for their frontline workforce. Because it's my thought that we shouldn't be waiting until somebody is being considered for a management, executive, or leadership position to teach them practical leadership skills. I make the argument: what if your best team? What if all your team members are your best team members? Right? It's absolutely possible. We just don't pour into the people. Right? We pour into them sometimes with the hard skills. Hey, go take this training. Right? The all this manufacturer, that manufacturer. I'm going to send you here. It's all turn the wrench, and there's more to success than that. And we're doing people a disservice if we're not showing them how to properly communicate, how to have hard conversations, how to take personal responsibility, right? I have the 4 stages of responsibility that I teach people. And these skills are transferable, not only in the business, right, that they work for, which, by the way, a survey done a couple of years ago, I think it was a LinkedIn survey, said that 57% of employers, it was like millions of responses, 57% of employers value soft skills more than they value hard skills, which speaks volumes, right? People want to work with people who get people. Go figure. Yes. It makes sense, right? And so, but we're not teaching these people how to communicate and how to interact and why it's even important. We're just kind of leaving them to their own capacities and then promoting the ones that maybe have some kind of a natural ability, or were blessed to be in a household that modeled this behavior. I don't know about you guys, but I was in a household where they were like, "Hey, shut up and figure it out." Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's great. I mean, that teaches its own lessons, right? But I had to learn the soft skills, and I'm proud to say today, because of all the work that I've done on myself, that, I feel like I'm very good at carrying myself in those types of situations, and again, going back to the beginning of the episode, I feel then a responsibility of mine to be able to transfer that information that is transferable. And so that's a really big portion of it. And the other portion we teach is financial acumen. And it's called Frontline Financials, but it's very specific. It teaches high level how the frontline workforce's actions contribute to the bottom line of the organization, right? The things that the employer does not necessarily reveal. Now, we have to be careful. There's still an element of discretion. Not all business owners want every person on the team to know how much they're putting in their pocket. That's not what I'm saying, right? But you should know, as a technician in the field, how if you get into a car accident, that affects the bottom line of the organization. You should know if a customer says you can't come back to the restaurant, that affects the bottom line of the organization. You should know how your actions contribute, to the organization, because at the end of the day, that is what employers look at. It's overall contribution to the business. It's not just how much can you bill. It's how much do you cost me.
Mm-hmm. Josh, would you say that includes how you treat your vehicle, making sure, callbacks,
yes, sir.
Stuff like that? To just overall brass tacks, what it costs to have a technician. I'm learning that personally with having in-house technicians, down to what their insurance is, how they might be treating their vehicle, gas, maintenance, how they use their purchase card. Stuff like that.
We break it all the way down to uniforms, cell phones, tool replacements, because we have tool replacement policies, right? We break it all down as to, okay, this is the bottom line. This is what you actually cost the organization. And by the way, I'm not giving you that information for you to feel bad. I'm not giving you that information so you can think that you need to work harder. That's not it. But you need to know that your job in any organization is to generate an income. It's to generate a return on whatever investment that employer has in you, right? And so you need to know if that investment is just your wages, or if that investment is your wages, your taxes, your insurance, your vehicle, your uniforms, your incidents, right? And because then you'll be able to know if you're doing well. We don't have this barometer in the field. Technicians are left to their own capacity to think, okay, well, if I bill X and I make Y, that means that the company makes Z. But there's so much gray area in between, something Rich is finding out right now, every single day, and so, but it's imperative to me that the front line know this, because I want them to succeed, because if they succeed, I succeed. And, the business is meant to be a win-win scenario, and it can be, we just need to look through that lens.
I used to think like that. I used to literally look at the ticket and be like, well, they're charging this much. My hourly rate is this much. And I would be oblivious to the fact that there's all this involved in what it takes to put me in that vehicle, and the cost of having a vehicle monthly, which I'm sure that's a thing for you and Rich, is how, what does it cost to have those wheels on the ground, right? And whatnot. And then it wasn't until I got into management and I had a little bit of an epiphany where I was just like, well, shit, why didn't I know this before? If they taught me this before, I would have shown a lot more professional courtesy and been a lot more considerate, and I would have been a lot more intentional and deliberate about how I performed. I mean, it honestly, I'm not a bad person. I'm giving my best out there, but just having that inclination in the back of my mind, it's really ignorant,
Now, what's really wild though is the amount of small business owners that have no clue how those numbers actually work. And that's one thing I run into all the time. And I mean, honestly, I probably only know it because of Josh drilling it into me and other successful people, like learn your numbers. But once I started learning my numbers, and then I'm talking to other small business owners, and they're like, yeah, I pay my guys $45 an hour, or with benefits, it probably cost me $55. And I'm like, you may want to redo those numbers, and you'll understand where all your cash flow went. I had a guy tell me one time, he's like, I don't know where all my cash flow went. And he's like, I've got this, myself and an office lady and a part-time tech and this and that. And I'm like, bro, why don't you calculate how much your part-time tech is actually costing you versus, the revenue you're generating? I'm like, because except for the hours, if you're not really
same cost,
most hours, you're paying the same for your part-time tech as you are for a full-time tech, except maybe 10 hours a week. You know what I mean? And I'm like, but that's what so many small business owners don't know. So even if you don't buy this and present it to your people, just as a small business owner that's looking like, why the hell am I not making the money that I think I should be making? I would say, jump on the academy and at least learn the frontline financials, and it's going to blow your mind. I mean, I had a customer offer me, hey, if you can do this rate, you'll get all our business. And I'm like, dude, the rate you're offering me is $2 an hour more than it cost me to run my business. Like, I just can't do it. But if I didn't know all that stuff, if I would have known all that stuff, I'd be like, oh, that's double what I pay my guys. I'm making a killing. Nah.
Yeah. And I was going to say there's two reasons why employers don't teach this to their frontline, right? Number one is what you alluded to, Rich, is they don't know. They just don't know. And so they should know. If you're running a business, you need to know your numbers. It's a non-negotiable. You don't need to be a CFO. You don't need to be an accountant, a CPA. You just need to have a basic understanding of your expenses and your income. Really, Rich, that's all you and I work on. There's a couple of different equations in between and things to figure out from a math standpoint, but really it boils down to those two numbers. What do you make and what do you spend? Yeah. And the second one is fear, right? We were talking a little bit about that before the show, and business owners have fear around a whole lot of different things. There's fear around risk, there's fear around losing people, and there's fear around what are those people going to think about me if they know how much money I'm making, or how much money I'm not making. Honestly, it's a very small margin, because if you're losing money, people aren't going to trust you. If you're making too much money, people aren't going to trust you, And so this fear becomes a driver, and that's where the academy steps in and says, okay, well, you don't have to worry about that. Don't worry about the fear. We're going to give just enough information for them to understand how they impact, how they can generate an ROI, and how, at the end of the day, that's going to drive their success, because you're going to want to, Mr. Employer, give them more money because they're making you more money.
Yeah.
I had my eyes open up when I went to Sefesta conference the first time in Nashville. Heather sent me into I forget, it was something about business. And it was like, in order to make a profit off of your technician making this much money an hour, you need to be charging this much, this much. And I was like, this much an hour to your customers. I was like, wow, I am a freaking burden on my company then. And I was like, holy smokes. And it opened my eyes up to really what's going on. You know what I mean? But I think, you don't know what you don't know, right? But, some of these guys don't care to know. They're here to collect a check. And some guys do care to know. And if you explain it to them, they'd be a lot more understanding. They'd probably be a different technician if they actually knew what it took.
Yeah. I mean, I'm small, so I know it's not going to be like this forever, but my guys are great. But yeah, like, I'll throw stuff out there like, bro, like, this is what it costs to actually run the business, and they're like, holy crap, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, this is why you can't show up to a job an hour early intentionally, knowing that the customer is not going to be there. This is why we need to try to minimize callbacks. It's not because of whatever. It's like, if you run 2 hours and I can only bill for one, I'm screwed. You might as well not even, ran the call for the day or whatever. But, when they have that in their mind so far, they're like, oh, let's tighten up what we're doing and let's, do the best we can. I mean, to me, knowing those numbers has been a benefit, not just on the back end of being able to look at my P&L and figure out where we're screwing up, but to tell my guys like, yeah, I pay you this, but by the time it's all said and done, it cost me this. And if you see I'm making, and I'm just making up a number, I'm making $12 for every hour you bill. If you screw up one time and it could have been avoided, now I'm losing, I don't know, $80 to send you to that repair or whatever. And they're like, yeah, we don't want you to lose anything. We like working here. So let's help you not lose.
So it sounds like BitNew Academy is really geared to someone like me. I want more in my career. I want to be more than I'm famous for being just a tech, and people get mad when I say that all the time. Like, people everywhere get mad when I say that. They're like, "Why are you here?" I was like, "I'm just a tech. I don't know." And that's just what I say, just what I think of myself. But I want more. I want to be more. I don't want to be a technician forever. I want to help grow and spread the word in the industry, whether that's training or whatever I do. But it sounds like, I need to get involved and go through some of the stuff that you're offering at the BitNew Academy, because I want to be something else, and I know a lot more than most technicians in my role really knows, and it seems like that'd be a good place for me to go.
Yeah, well, it's been in your inbox for a year, bro.
I know, I'm freaking terrible, dude.
I'm calling you out right now. I'm calling
I've got two.
This is called accountability. You just told the entire world that you want to go through that course, and I just told them that you have.
Let's get it. I'll have to go find that email.
That's like the new online meme. The viral thing is fuck.
And now you got me and Jason to hold you accountable, bro.
Yeah. So I'm
Yo,
gonna get on there because, like I said,
I want to do something. I want to transition because we don't have a lot of time left. Everything they don't tell you. Let's transition into that because I mean I've been listening. I listened to Blue is the New White, and it was real good. I'm sure you felt towards the end of it, it was kind of repetitive. It was the same stuff again and again. And then you went into everything they don't tell you, and I'm sitting here like, oh, this is gonna be cool. It's gonna be spreadsheets, and it's gonna be this and that. And then it's like, yeah, that's part of it, but it's also like, what the hell is wrong with you? You know what I mean? What are the things that are holding you back? That kind of stuff. So let's get into that. You know what I mean? Like, how's it different from Blue is the New White? Why'd you go that direction and whatever else?
Oh man, I love that you brought it up. Thank you so much. Everything they don't tell you is that's truly my passion. I enjoy. They say, what's that one thing that you would do for the rest of your life for free? This would be it for me, right? And so I enjoy talking to people. I'm a personal development enthusiast. I read a ton of books. If I were to pan over here, you'd see 400-500 books on my bookshelf. Read every single one of them. There's highlights and sticky notes, and I just consume this information. I love it so much, and the podcast now awards me the opportunity to talk to the people who wrote these books. And so
I love that. I want to talk about that too.
It is amazing. So to answer your question succinctly, Rich, Blue is the New White. Obviously, this was started in 2019 as an advocacy podcast for the blue collar skilled trades, talking to skilled trades people all over the world about why they love what they do. It's a wildly rewarding experience.
Loved it.
I gained team members, I gained friends, I gained knowledge and information. I was thanked 1,000 times by people all over the world about, oh, I didn't know the skilled trades existed, and I found your podcast, and now I know what I want to do the rest of my life. Like, you have no idea. Like, the reward that I get from that is insane, and it was fun, and it was valuable. But there was a pull inside of me because I love business. Like, it's funny. I turn all my hobbies into businesses, and it's all on accident. Like, I don't mean to, but I just I love business. I love growth, and I was hit with realization. I alluded to this, right? I've been working on myself for a few years, but I was hit with a realization that success only comes if you become the person capable of achieving it. And that's true for everybody. And that's something I had to do. And that's a reality I had to face, right? And I couldn't achieve the level of success that I wanted to achieve, that I had in my sights, without doing some serious fucking work on myself. And that's what this podcast is about. It is about the business, but then it's about how do you actually become the person capable of doing all of this cool stuff we're talking about, the spreadsheets and the leadership and the culture and the buzzwords. And, that's all great and that's all fine and dandy. But like, if you don't fix you first, if you don't make space for yourself, there's no way that you're going to be able to accomplish those types of things. And if by stroke of luck you do, the emptiness you'll feel at the end will make it not worth anything.
Woo! Sorry.
That's deep, bro. That's deep. That hits me because years ago I went through like a self-reflection, inner healing type journey, and it was cool because I tell technicians, I'm like, yo, one of the best things you could do is say, like, for the next year between calls, I'm gonna sit in silence, no radio, no podcast, no nothing, and just start listening to yourselves. And if you listen to yourself in silence, you're gonna learn a lot about yourself. You know what I mean? And I think like that's kind of what your podcast is doing with the whole everything they don't tell you. I'm like, for the people who haven't listened to it, I mean, there was one talking about people, mental it wasn't mental toughness, but it was like
mental strength,
right? Because the difference was acting tough versus actually having mental strength. And she's going into like dealing with grief and different stuff like that. Then you got people talking about physical and emotional and I guess you could call it like spiritual health and all these different things that you have to address with yourself if you want to grow. A lot of people say they want to grow, but they're not willing to actually deal with and confront themselves. And the last several episodes of that podcast that I've listened to, I'm like, yeah, this thing will make you confront yourself if you're.
Ooh. I appreciate you saying that because that's why it exists. And thanks for bringing that up. Like the guests that we've been having, we have leveled up the type of guests that we bring on to speak about such a broad array of topics. Like we've had Gay Hendricks on, who's multiple New York Times best-selling author. He was pivotal in the psychology space. We had Dr. Robert Glover on, author of No More Mr. Nice Guy. His episode has not aired yet. We've had Troy Casey, certified health nut. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he's transformative in like the holistic, esoteric type of health. And not everybody's going to resonate with all these episodes, but man, at least they know that this shit exists. Because, that's what we need to know. We need, just like I present that, you can't move towards success unless you know all the different options that are available to you. You can't move toward the best version of yourself unless you know what all is available to you. And that's what the show is about. This next episode, I'll give a little sneak peek, right? This next episode is with a guy named Jacob Tilzer. He's a guy here in town that I know, become friends with. And his story is phenomenal. I won't ruin the whole thing, but I'll say that he grew up in the foster care system and started off as a mechanic, started a collision repair company, scaled it to a 400 locations, sold it at 35 years old for multiple nine figures, and now started his own private equity company where he actually takes the lessons that he learned from dealing with private equity in a negative way to put a positive spin on how he can help business owners. It's an incredible episode and wildly enlightening. It's going to drop Tuesday of next week.
Nice.
I'm going to get caught up. I've been slacking on podcasts. I've been trying to just do some humor stuff. We get caught up in a bunch of deep stuff, and sometimes it drags me down because the normal comparison thing, you start comparing yourself to other people, and it kind of eats at you. I'm guilty of that sometimes. So
I'll tell you, like I tell so many other people, sit in silence, bro. I think, matter of fact, didn't the last episode, didn't it touch on that, sitting in silence? But bro, if you sit in silence and you're willing to listen to yourself, bro, you will start whatever crap is bothering you that causes you to get brought down or whatever. That stuff will start coming up, bro.
So I started meditating for an hour every Sunday. I do a silent sit with a bunch of other people. It's fascinating what you can learn about yourself sitting in silence with a room full of people. It's amazing. But I think it was like Confucius or one of the Stoics said, all of man's problems stems from his inability to sit alone by himself. And it's true because we never, especially in today's world, Pat, with all the noise and all the feeds and all the comparisons and all the bullshit, we don't even have space for ourselves. We don't even look in the mirror. We don't reflect on the thoughts that we have. We just let them drive our life, right? The practice of meditation and like mindfulness and sitting in silence, what Rich is talking about, that's not going to fix us, but that's at least going to give us. It's going to give us the space to recognize what is actually affecting us. And for me, it does two things. Number one, it shows me how much I suffer more in imagination than I do in reality. Right? All of my problems are self-inflicted. They really are. And when I sit alone in a room and I know that I'm okay physically and I'm here, I'm alive, I'm breathing, I'm grounded, but in my head there's a thought carnival like holding me at gunpoint. Like I'm you know what I'm saying? Like
oh, I fully understand.
It helps you understand and realize that like, oh wait, does my mind control me or do I control my mind?
That's deep. I mean, Rich talks about sitting in silence, and some of the best drives home are the days after I just get my ass absolutely handed to me. And like I pull up to a stoplight and I go to turn the radio down, and it's not the radio, it's the AC's too loud because I have the radio off because it's in silence. I'm just like so zoned out. By the time I get home though, I'm just like, I'm a different person. I'm like, yeah, that was actually like kind of refreshing. Like no music, just focus on the drive and just be with your thoughts. Don't worry about, listening to the conversations on the radio or none of that. Just be with your thoughts and get it figured out.
Presence, baby.
Josh, let me ask you something about sitting in silence. So I know that there's two things. One thing that people struggle with, and I struggle with, and maybe I'm going to ask you, maybe this might help. So if you can sit in silence and have a better understanding of yourself, will that help in any way of creating narratives in your mind about the situation you're in and the people you work with and the people, whether or not people are communicating with you? I know that a lot of times issues come from what's not said, right? So does sitting in silence help you understand yourself, be one with yourself, hear put down the noise, but then also that same thing that bites at you in silence on by yourself is also the same thing that might be biting you, not understanding other people around you? I mean, is there a correlation there that if you can listen to yourself and understand your own issues, that maybe you will stop projecting what other people might be thinking? Because I find myself, not to go too deep, in different scenarios where I'm just like, I'm not getting the communication I think I should be getting. And what are they thinking? Is this affecting me? Am I doing a good job? Stuff like that.
Yeah, so the correlation there, Jason, at least for me, I can't speak for everybody, but the correlation for me is the more I recognize myself, the less that other stuff affects me, but because of the work I've done on me. It doesn't change them. It doesn't even really change my attitude towards them, but it's kind of that thought that, hey, if my side of the street is clean, I can understand this side better. I can make space for that side better, or I can respond or react to that better. But first, I need to make sure that I can carry myself before I can carry someone else.
Like
right. And so, yeah. And so that's what it is for me. Like, I still listen, this is the human condition. I still get frustrated. We all still get frustrated. I don't care how much monks still get frustrated. Like, you know what I'm saying? It is the process of sitting in silence is just knowing that you're getting frustrated, knowing why you're getting frustrated, and then accepting being frustrated. Because that's the part that trips us up, Jason, is that frustrated is one thing, but then, shaming ourselves because we shouldn't be this frustrated is the next step. And that's usually where this suffering and imagination comes from, is like, how hard we are on ourselves for not being able to tolerate this shit.
Yeah. We are hard on ourselves.
What I would add to that is, at least from my experience, right? So sitting in silence is not just like, oh, good, now I'm listening to all my thoughts. It's starting to identify, for example, like triggers that you have. So part of me, when I spent that whole time where I would go from service call to service call with no music or anything, as these thoughts would run to my head, I would start to realize, like, I react a certain way to certain situations. Well, why do I react that way? Like, now you have the choice, right? You could brush it off like, well, that's just who I am. Or you could be like, well, why do I react that way? And then when you start breaking out, why do you react that way? If you're willing to go deep enough, you can get to the root of it. And if you get to the root of why you react a certain way, and you're willing to heal the root of why you react that way, then with the things that you're talking about, they become a non-issue because you actually healed yourself. And I think in a way, I'm kind of reiterating some of what Josh said, but if you fix yourself, a lot of the stuff that you deal with right now is going to be a non-issue. So it's not even like, oh, I'll be better understanding of why people do this. It's like, wait, the problem isn't that people do this. The problem is, one, what I think that they're doing is not actually what they're doing. It's that I'm interpreting what they're doing a certain way based on my life, my past, my upbringing, whatever. So once you fix that, it's like they're not even doing what I thought they were doing.
That's such a good way to put it.
That's deep seated, buddy. I like that.
Yeah. Where's Rich coming off
I'm half
this?
genius, bro. I'm half genius.
Normally, it's Jason spitting this stuff.
It's funny because I've been married this July 21 years, and like younger couples will be like, "Oh, what's the secret?" And I'm just like, "Well, you got to love you first." And even though that, and now that I'm thinking about that, I do tell younger people that I'm like, you're gonna spend your time trying to satisfy everyone else. You need to love yourself first and understand yourself first to make Jason, someone else happy.
Let me ask you this, because I know you're a man of faith, also, right? What are the two greatest commandments in the Bible? Do you know? The first one is love your Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, right? But the second that Jesus said is equal to that is love your neighbor as you love yourself. So it's exactly what you said. If you don't love yourself first, you can't love anybody in a proper way.
Okay.
It's the platinum rule, right? Treat yourself the way you want other people to treat you.
Golden rule.
No, that's the platinum rule.
Platinum
The
rule, I
golden
like
rule is
that.
treat other people the way you want to be treated.
Those are so close.
Yeah, but it's a
Put
it's a
your
nuance,
face mask
right?
on before you help anyone else.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Put your own oxygen mask on first. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Man, that's crazy. So, anything else you want to cover? We're coming up on an hour, man. I don't want to keep you too long. I know you got some. You got a family there waiting
I'm
on you.
having
Beautiful
fun,
wife,
dude.
beautiful kids.
I remember there was a time when Josh was like, not at this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Honestly, that I'm still protective of my time, but I also have a rule. Like I communicate really well with my family what my mission is, and I think that that's really important for my daughters to see too. Kind of in the same spirit of what we're talking about here. They should be aware that no matter what you're working on, whether that's a business, whether that's a friendship, whether that's a relationship, or whether that's yourself, that it takes work, it takes effort, and you're going to have to put in actual, real, tangible steps to get there. Every single time, no matter what you're doing. That's how you improve. And you lean into the discomfort, right? And so there was a time when I wasn't comfortable, stepping away from my family at like this time to have these types of conversations. But now now they understand why, and this is part of that making space for yourself, right? I enjoy this shit. Like I am on a mission, and if I can be fully present in a conversation like this, and I can also be fully present with them when I'm spending time with them, then that's freedom. That's freedom.
Absolutely.
So yeah, no, that's it just in response to, I guess,
Man, we're going deep tonight, huh?
I love it, man. This is my thing now. I love going deep. This is why I love doing the podcast, and I love having those conversations because I learn so much about myself in those conversations, and I get to share it with the world. It's the best of all worlds, and so it's fun. This stuff lights me up. I'm excited. And I want the best for everybody, and that includes myself too. And everybody's capable of doing it. They just need to want to, right? And if they don't want to, they at very least just be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
So what do you think makes people not want to, right? Because I feel like most people are born with like a desire to be great, and then life and crap like that happens. But like kind of going back to what we were seeing earlier, right? Like sometimes you look at somebody and you're like, bro, you could be like unstoppable, but they're like, no, I'm just a regular average guy. So what is it that causes people, or what's the biggest hindrance you think people have from holding themselves back to be a regular average person versus the achieving the greatness that's actually in them?
Pick your poison. Fear of failure, fear of success, self-limiting beliefs, societal structures, just belief. Belief is a big one. Just the underlying, I don't believe I can. And so many of us have a version of this that we're working through because of childhood trauma or shit we're working, shit that happened to us, whatever. And it could be, I don't want to say like everybody's got this big bag of trauma, right? It could be something small, it could be something big, but it's all relative based on your upbringing, right? Somebody who's been given everything their entire life, when a pickup truck that was given to them is taken away, it'll feel like death, right? Just like when somebody lived their entire life, and maybe in an abusive household, they're both experiencing trauma, right? It's just different circumstances. And so anyway, the belief, I think that you can succeed, and then a whole bunch of whys thereafter is why most people hit their ceiling. And that is such a hard place to break free from. We've all had to do it, right? And I'd be willing to bet that everybody on this call has had to do a version of breaking through that. I'm not good enough. I don't believe I can. I don't deserve. right? I don't deserve this success. There's a whole bunch of different ways and filters you can put that through. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to, do you believe you can?
Yeah, adversity is different for everybody. I think my adversity is definitely different from the next person's. So I think we have to take into account that people's, like you said, people's upbringings, trauma, their situation, and where you think somebody should be able to break through it easily, they can't. Unfortunately, because you don't know how they were treated. Not everyone has a supportive upbringing. Not everyone has supportive friends, and I talked about this. Where some people things just happen for them. Other people, they are scraping, they're digging deep, blood, sweat, and tears just to make it out of bed and get to where they are. You just really don't know where people are and where they're coming from. And I think that's where our empathy and sympathy and all those things come in. And maybe why we project on other people that, hey, you can do it, when you think everybody should, but just people go through different things. And for myself, I didn't get it together till I was like 30 years old. Well, I wouldn't say get it together. I loved hospitality. I loved hospitality until I was 30, and then life hit me, and then I found the trades and school and schooling and everything. And it's like, if I thought things were great before, and then something happened, everyone gets to where they get at the time they're supposed to get there, I guess. You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah. And if I could, I'd like to give just a couple practical tools for people. Maybe some things that helped me will help others out there. Kind of at least make some progress in whatever direction they want to go. So three big habits for me are meditation, right? And you don't need to do an hour meditation a day, even 20 minutes. I mean, start with 5 minutes. Then we can wake up to 10 minutes. I mean, listen, if you can do 15 minutes a day, you're better than 99% of the population at this. Okay, reading, being able to absorb this information. Remember, the purpose of knowledge is not knowledge; it's action, right? So if you're reading and you're learning and you're doing all that, but you're not taking action on it, that's going to make you feel like shit at the end of the day. That's going to keep you stuck, right? And then moving your body, being healthy, going to the gym, you don't have to go out there and rip 425 off the ground in a deadlift or anything like that, but you do need to respect your body, healthy mind. Right. And so, those are some things. And then a couple other things at work, what you can do. I'll give you two things to do at work. Have a difficult conversation with somebody. That thing that's bugging you, that's in the back of your brain that you've been putting off for years or months or days or whatever it is, because you're worried or scared about having that conversation. It is always better once you have that conversation. So just have it. Don't worry about how it's going to go. Don't worry about how the other person's going to receive it, because that's all you. That's all you. That's your emotional, projection. So don't worry about that. Just do it. Just have it. I promise you'll feel better afterwards. Might take a minute. In the reflection, doesn't always feel good, but after that, it gets better. And then number 2, give somebody praise, but be specific. All right, my conversation with Amy Morin, the one that Rich was talking about, she taught me basically one of the biggest things about being mentally strong and gaining mental strength is to do things for others. But then my favorite book of all time, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie says, be hearty in your approbation and, what is it? It's lavish in your approbation and hearty in your praise. And basically what he means is that instead of walking by somebody at work and saying, hey, good job, patting them on the back and leaving, you actually go up to them and say, hey, you know what? I really noticed how much attention to detail you put into fixing this equipment and how clean this space was. And I can't tell you what that means to the organization. And I really, truly value what you do here. Like there's a huge delta between those two levels of praise. And the latter will not only inspire the person you're talking to, but it'll inspire you. And it will help you continue to do this kind of stuff. And it'll help you look in the mirror and be truly proud at the person looking back.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I'd like to add to that,
great nuggets.
give yourself praise. not from a selfish, conceited standpoint. Like if you're a narcissist, then ignore what I'm about to say. But a lot of us, like one thing I learned, and I'll shout out Corey Yates for this, because you know I'm always thanking everybody who's helped me out, and I'm like, and I mean it genuinely 100%, that like I appreciate every bit of advice from every person. But like one time, and I think you may have told me this too, Josh, but I know Corey, like, he texted me, he's like, bro, like, thank yourself too. He's like, we give you advice, we help you, but you show up every day and you do the thing that needs to be done. And I was like, damn, I never thought about that. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm so grateful for everybody else. And I'm like, I really was ignoring the work that I put in to take the advice, to hustle, to do everything else. So also, yeah, give yourself praise when praise is due. And then also, I think I would say the flip side of that is check yourself when you're being an arrogant prick.
Check yourself before you
I'll say the only reason why coaches work with anybody or mentors work with anybody is because they're willing to do the work. Mm-hmm. No coach or mentor is going to work with you if you're not going to do what they say.
Yeah.
So real quick, those were awesome nuggets, all three of those. The buzzword I keep hearing is meditate. So for someone like myself, how do you meditate? Because for me, I end up praying. And you say sit in silence. Mm-hmm. Is it literally sitting in silence? Not to go into too much detail, but what's meditation look like to you? So I've always thought of that. Like, I think of monks. I think of was it Tina Turner in that movie where she's saying these sayings? I think of people praying. Like, what is meditation to you, man?
Well, that's a good question. There's a lot of different styles and types and ways that you can meditate, and I've practiced all of them. There's breath work. That's a form of meditation. The one that I've been practicing lately is called Vipassana meditation. It's a Buddhist practice, I believe. Cool. I'm not going to pretend like I know a ton about it, sure. But all I know is it helps me, and it's presence. It's being with your body. And here's where what I hear a lot is people say, well, I'm not good at meditating. Like I can't clear my mind. Like I can't not have thoughts.
I can see
and
that.
I tell them, okay, well, that's good. That's actually what the practice of meditation is. And that's why it's always a practice. You will never master the art of meditation. It's always a practice because it bumps up against the human condition, which is we live in our head, right? So my practice of meditation is closing my eyes, feeling the sensations in my body, knowing my breath, right? Feeling my breath and just being with my breath. Naturally, my mind is going to wander. If I'm sitting for an hour, which is a long time, I'm not recommending that people sit for an hour right off the bat. I mean, go for it if you want. It's hard. The amount of thoughts that come into my brain in a span of an hour, or even if I'm doing it for 20 minutes, is insane, as you can imagine, right? Like thousands of different thoughts, everything from like, where did I put my other shoe, to like, why did I say that thing to the girlfriend I had 25 years ago? You know what I mean? Like all this stuff goes through your head and you can't stop it. But the practice of meditation is just coming back to your breath, coming back to the present. And it's meant to serve as a reminder that in the present, we're okay. In reality, we're okay. But unfortunately, the reality that we create for ourselves is up here.
Yeah. And I think there's different forms of meditation personally. So there's that and the whole clearing your mind stuff. But for me, like I could meditate on myself, my issues, my problems, like I talked about earlier, fixing yourself. I can meditate on the Bible, on different scriptures. I can meditate on my P&L. You know what I mean? Like if I'm sitting here in front of my P&L and I'm like, yo, why is my bottom line not where it needs to be? And I'm going to dedicate my time to my bottom line. I'm not going to answer this customer's call. I'm not going to answer this email. I'm going to say the next hour, and distractions are going to pop up. Like, I need to focus on my P&L, or I need to focus on this technician's issue. I think it's just, there's different levels of it, but I think it's in being intentional about whatever you're trying to focus on. Now, you can't replace meditating on yourself with meditating on your P&L or your work problems. But I do think in every area of our lives, there's a form of meditation. Because I mean, I would say better than anybody, Jason, being in facilities, like you'll be working on a problem and then you probably get 15 other emails about 15 different stores having 38 different problems.
I have 15 different stores.
Yeah. How easy is it for you to jump from this problem to that problem to that problem and not give your full attention to one situation? So I do think there's different levels of that. And I think if you apply it properly, you can get the same benefit from each one. It's just like, okay, right now I'm going to meditate on healing myself. Right now I'm going to meditate on getting a better spiritual connection. Right now, yeah, I know you've got 38 different people trying to call me right now, but this is what I need to solve. And that's actually something I'm learning right now, because we've been so busy that it's easy for me to bounce. And I'm like, now I'm neglecting this customer or this issue because I'm letting all these other distractions come in.
Yeah, so we're not gonna get intergalactic omnipresent oneness right off the jump.
Yeah. Well, I did. I don't know about you.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
I'm just kidding. I'm like, so Josh, you're doing it wrong.
Josh meditated one time and he fixed everything.
So Josh, I'm a third through my book that I'm writing. So when I'm done, and if it makes it on the New York bestseller, I can get back on the show.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's what's up.
Oh, that's funny. I'm not going to keep you any longer because we can just keep going all night knowing this crew.
That's fine. Pat, you can just say you're done, man.
I got to go now.
No. Jason's probably taking his medicine. He's probably ready to go.
No, it's sitting right there in front of me. I'm taking it.
This has been awesome. This has been truly awesome. I want to say thank you to all three of you. Awesome hosts, and some really good questions, Pat and Jason and Rich, and I just. You have a good show. You have a really, really good show here, and you help a lot of people.
Yeah, we kept it tame because if you heard the conversation in the pre-lobby, it was going to get wild. I had to reel it in a little bit. I was on one.
We behave for those we like. Yeah.
Pat, did you ask any one of the 28 questions that you sent me?
I think I asked one.
All right.
I'm terrible, man. Read the questions when you sent them out, bro. Yeah. I'm like,
after my first sip, I'm like, I'm taking over.
Jason was beating me up about the questions. I was like, dude, it said potential, dude. Chill out. Like, we're not going to get to these. I was being polite, sent some questions. Most of the time, I don't send questions. People are like, that's questions. I'm like, I mean, do you want questions? I can make questions. I mean,
I was just like, if y'all don't know me by now, you're in trouble. I mean,
100%.
There's no telling what I'm going to say.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you so much, man. Tell everybody where we can find you.
Exactly.
Yeah, appreciate that, guys. At Josh Zolin everywhere. Otherwise, the main hub where you can find me is joshzolin.com. There you can find the podcast. You can find Bit New Academy. You can find Windy City Equipment, where it all started. We do offer a 90-day ROI playbook for free, where it teaches business owners how to deploy soft skills into their team and capture up to $30,000 in profit without changing anything except for deploying these soft skills.
Love that.
Sweet. We're going to tag you in everything when this episode comes out. It'll be on YouTube. We're going to tag you in everything, back end, everything. I really appreciate what you've done. I mean, you've helped me out on a personal level, some things. If most people know me, I can be a little bit of a hothead. Not really a hothead. I'm passionate. And I don't think. I rush to do things, and I've said some things that have gotten me in trouble. And I have two very important mentors as far as work-related. So I have Josh is my person I reach out to if I'm going to say something's going to get me in trouble, Safessa. So he kind of helps me with that. And then if I get anything that's going to get me in trouble with work, I reach out to Pat Duffy and clear it through him before I post it. So I've got two people that are very important, very special to me, and you are one of them. But, I mean, I appreciate you coming on. I will be signing up for Bit New Academy. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make time for it. I think it's time for me to take what I want to do to the next level. And I'm excited to see where that's going to be, or I wouldn't be here in San Antonio teaching, guys refrigeration. I wouldn't be spending time away from my family and my friends. So,
yeah, well, I appreciate you saying that, Pat. Thank you so much, and I'm just grateful to know you. I'm grateful to be in a position to even offer advice that may hint towards helping. I don't know if it does.
It does for the most part. I haven't gotten in trouble in a long time.
Well, that's good. All right, I guess. But no, thank you, and thanks for what you do. For the industry as well.
I appreciate it.
I would like to point out, since he didn't shout out me and Jason.
I was going to say, we're like the Diet Coke of mentorship over here.
We're like the angel and the devil from the 90s cartoons. Pat says something to the group chat, and Jason's like, Pat, have you considered this and this and this and this? And I'm like, send it.
Dude, there was one last week. I was mad right off the rip. Someone did something, and it's clearly playing off of the name of the podcast. And I'll leave it at that. But Like Rich went and found the post and was like, "Huh, I wonder where you got that from." And Jason's like, "Oh, that's just coincidence." And Rich is like, "I'm gonna call this dude out." I'm like, I'm just in here venting in our group chat, so I don't do it in public.
Better
Like,
angels right here.
Rich, are you bad influence, man?
I'm a very bad influence.
Over here,
I don't care.
Quoting scriptures over here.
I need to get
burn the bridges, burn the boats. And he told me that. And
burn the boats, exactly.
Burn the boats, yeah.
I need to get a picture made where it's like Jason a little angel outfit on one shoulder and Rich in a little devil outfit on the other soldier, and just like that's gonna be my background.
And then get one with me just standing on the table like this.
Like,
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just here.
He'll be the blind justice guy.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Josh will be the guy trying to figure out why you want to be the angel and why I'm the devil.
Yeah, there you go. I'll be the one asking all the stupid questions.
Yeah. Explain that to me.
Yeah, can you explain that? Thank you. All right, guys. Have a good night. I appreciate it. It's been a great episode, and I look forward to getting this one out on audio. Once again, go follow Josh Zolin everywhere. Check out joshzolin.com. Check out BitDo Academy. He's doing great things for good people and for people he believes in, and that just may be you. See you guys.
Thanks.
Ciao.